Turn it up, turn it up, turn it up! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my podcast. I am 24. This is my podcast, 24's podcast, the best video gaming and sports podcast on the entire internet. Pause the music! First and foremost, let me apologize. If you are watching this on YouTube, you're gonna get a black screen again. Not because I don't want to talk about like what I'm doing when it comes to recording and stuff like that. Just know it's like I'm on a very I'm on an obnoxiously difficult to deal with setup. So rather than because I tried to do this with the PS5 reveal, it got like black bars on the side. I don't know how to deal with that. I'm gonna look that up later on. But to be honest with you, a lot of what I'm going to be looking at today really doesn't have to do, not visually, but like you won't be seeing a whole lot of stuff. I won't really be playing a whole bunch of stuff. So like play my podcast in the background. I know it's a big ask, but it's like, it's the best I can do for right now. So I apologize for that, but it's just, I'm going to figure out how to make this a little bit better, but just know it's like this is all I got. Unpause my music. In fact, turn it up. So, what do we got on the podcast today? Actually, pause my music again. So, I was going over some video ideas. I had recorded some ideas, and I was like, oh man, I got a whole bunch of nothing. I got nothing. It's like 11:21 today. Today is Monday. I'm going to be releasing this tomorrow, which is Tuesday. And I was like, at 9 or 8 o'clock, I was like, man, I got nothing. And then I had the brilliant idea to kind of formulate all of my ideas that I had for videos today in like an amalgamation or like some gumbo. Like, how you put a bunch of stuff in like some gumbo, like you put like broth, you put rice, you put crab legs, you put sausage and gumbo. That's pretty much what this is. It's gonna taste like a delicious, weirdly colored soup with a bunch of sausage, rice, and crab legs in it. That actually made me hungry for some good gumbo. But today, all I'm gonna be doing is talking about all of the ideas that I had for Tuesday's videos today. This is very, very confusing because I'm going to be recording this on Monday and you're going to be getting it on Tuesday, and I'm going to be releasing this on Tuesday. I've already confused myself, so I've probably confused you. Just know that the stuff that I was talking about right now in this podcast was supposed to be a video, but then I hated how the video was turning out, so I was like, scratch the video idea. I'm not going to make a video. Then I was like, you know what? I still got to make a video. I love the momentum. I love the energy that the channel is bringing. I love all the new subscribers and viewers and all that good stuff. I was like, I want to keep on grinding. I want to keep on going. I want to keep on just keeping on. I don't like to quit. 24 does not like to quit ever. I don't like to not post videos except on the weekends. That's my me time. I gotta take a break on the weekends, not during the week. Week time is grind time. So I was like, I gotta have a clear mind, full heart, can't lose. Like on Friday Night Lights, I gotta keep going forward. I gotta produce something. I gotta make something. I gotta bring home the bacon. I gotta do something. And I was like, I'll just do a podcast. So this is kind of the result of the hodgepodge of ideas, the gumbo, the jambalaya of ideas. Play my music. So what were my ideas? What was I going to talk about today? Well, I was going to piss on the bonfire of Star Wars Squadrons, and I was going to talk about all of the other events that had come out, or that not that were going to come out, but that are going to come out in the next couple of days / week or so. Also, by the way, pause my music one more time. Well, final time. Second and final time. Let me check on Amazon right now. Because what I was planning on doing, and I had set this up perfectly. I had set it up perfectly, but I was afraid this was going to freaking happen. Because this is exactly what happened with Doom Eternal. With Doom Eternal, I freaking pre-ordered my copy from Amazon because I was like, I don't want to go out, and GameStop was closed, so I was like, I don't want to go out. I'm going to stay indoors. I'm going to stay inside. I can go to GameStop now, but it's like, why would I, it's like, do I want to cancel this? It's like, do I want to cancel it? Because I can still cancel it and get it on GameStop on Friday, and you may be asking me, well, 24, why don't you just download the game off the internet? Because I'm from the 1980s. I like to have CDs and Blu-rays. That's how I roll. So I'm like, the long and the short of it is, I'm getting The Last of Us Part 2 on Tuesday of next week. So, if you're expecting any initial thoughts for that sucks. But it's like, I'd rather be safe than sorry when it comes to like, what's going on, the pandemic. Do I need to say it? I don't think I need to say it. So I'm like, even though it's like, I could go to GameStop, I'm going to be safe. I'm going to be responsible. I'm staying self-quarantined, self-isolation, however you say it. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. You didn't come here to hear my doctor takes. You're here to hear me talk about video games. That's my music again. What was I talking about before I went on that soliloquy? Oh yeah, we're going to talk about Star Wars, the Squadron thing. We're going to talk about EA Play. We're going to talk about Night City Wire. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, ladies and gentlemen, right here on 24's podcast. By the way, because I'm thinking, I'm a thinker. I like to have, thoughts, ideas. I like to think sometimes. Do you like the format of the podcast? Is it like, do you like the aesthetic? I know you're looking at a black screen or you're listening to it. Like I'm going to release this podcast on YouTube and like it's just going to be a black screen for you. But it's like, do you like the aesthetic? Because really, it's like I don't really have a lot to show on my screen. And on top of that, it's like a pain in the ass to deal with. Like it would be a pain in the ass to upload. And I only have like a certain amount of gigabytes that I can upload to YouTube a month. Thank you to my internet provider for being cheap. It's like in South Korea, they get like thousands of megabytes per second. It's like here, it's like you got to fight for like 100 megabytes download speeds. And depending on where you are in the country, it's ridiculously priced. But I'm just asking for feedback, that's just what I'm asking. It's like, do you like it? Do you not like it? I don't know. So, with all that stuff, that was like an 8-minute intro. Jesus Christ. By the way, I'm going to try and have this like be another, I'm going to have this specific episode be like 20 to 30 minutes. So, I'm not going to keep you here for like 40 minutes or 2.5 hours like when I freaking had that podcast about the summer, or not the summer, but the Sony reveal event for the PlayStation 5. I was like, oh my God, like that's long, but it was thorough. And I like to be thorough. So let me talk about something that was released today. It was a trailer released from EA as I take out my earbuds. EA had released a trailer for Star Wars Squadrons. What is that exactly? Well, it looks like it is I wouldn't say a remake, but a continued edition or a continued entry in the series Star Wars Squadrons. Hold on, I got a burp. Not anymore, apparently. It got stuck in my throat. If you don't know what Star Wars Squadrons is, it's essentially a video game. I think that was made in like the 90s or the early 2000s. I forgot which console that it was made for. But it was essentially, a very, very popular game. It put you in the cockpit of an X-Wing or a TIE fighter, and you got to fly around and you got to shoot some stuff, but it was like, it deserves to be remastered. But it seems like what EA is doing with Star Wars Squadrons is exactly what they did with Battlefront, where it was kind of like a reboot of the series. Like when it was, when EA had released their version of Star Wars Battlefront, it wasn't like Star Wars Battlefront 3 or 4 or 5 or whichever one they were on. It's like we're remaking the entire series and just throwing out the old, and we're going to have a worse version of the Battlefront series. Did they ever make that series good, by the way? Like, honestly, comparatively to the older versions, it's like, which would you rather pay? The older one? It's not even a debate. You would rather play the older ones. I would rather play the older ones. So what does this mean for Star Wars Squadrons? Well, everybody got excited. Everybody got hyped. I don't understand why. I hate hype. Hype is like eating at McDonald's instead of eating at like a Ruth Chris steakhouse. It's like Ruth Chris is way better. Why would you even try to offer? Not even offer, but why would you even consider going to McDonald's? It's like, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But everybody started to buy into the hype once again, eat at McDonald's instead of at Ruth Chris. And they're like, Star Wars Squadrons, we're excited for it. On Monday, EA had released the trailer. Thursday is when EA is going to have EA Play, which is essentially their event for the Summer Games of not Summer Games event, but Summer Games Fest. They're going to have their own show. They're probably going to show, not even probably, it's confirmed that they're going to show off gameplay for Star Wars Squadrons because it's going to be released this year. They kept that thing under wraps, didn't they? And I don't want to come off as being incredibly negative or unreasonably skeptical or I hate using this word because I feel like 4-year-olds use this word, but I don't want to come off as like a hater. I'm not that excited for Star Wars Squadrons. Not gonna lie to you. Not really excited for, like, I wish that this week would just pass already. It's Tuesday. Like I'll get to what's going on in the next week, but I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about the EA Play. Like, the EA Play, I have to watch it because it's like EA is one of the biggest gaming companies, and you kind of cross your fingers that maybe one year they'll have an event where it's like, oh my God, that looks interesting. Maybe we should tune into EA and maybe they'll have something interesting to show off to their multitudes of fans in the gaming industry so that way they can show that, hey, maybe they can still create great video games instead of creating annual release projects that they just try to make a bunch of money off of. More often than not, they'll just make a whole bunch of money off of a specific product or an idea, and that's what EA is going to do. They're going to try and maximize their profits, right? Everybody bought into the hype of Star Wars Squadrons, just like how people bought into the hype of Star Wars Battlefront 2. People were like, oh my God, Star Wars Battlefront 2. As soon as they had shown off the demo at E3, everybody had freaking lost their minds. They were like, oh my God, EA, this looks cool. This looks interesting. And I just had to put my hand up there. I just had to raise my hand, ask a simple question. Because everybody was oohing and awing over, the game and how it looked. And they were like, wow, EA is really doing a good job when it comes to the PR for the game because they said that there's not going to be a season pass anymore. They said that all the DLC is going to be free, that that you won't have to pay for maps and stuff like that. Everything is free. Go EA! 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 What about microtransactions? Because it's easy to get caught up in the hype and forget about the important things that you have to ask specific developers about, like EA. Like, I don't have to worry about microtransactions with CD Projekt Red. You gotta kind of ask the question with EA. It's like, is there microtransactions in this game? Is there DLC? Is there a season pass? And I thought to myself, I was like, man, at the time of the game being shown off, I was like, man, Microsoft really hasn't talked that much about microtransactions potentially being in the game. It's not like it's not Microsoft, but it's not like EA wouldn't try to make the most money possible. That's their whole model. Their whole model is for-profit games. So I'm like, well, how do we make a shit ton of money? Oh, wait, we embed microtransactions into the core mechanics of our games, and players now have to, pretty much what they did with Star Wars, they did with FIFA and Madden. They said, hey, you want better upgrades, you want better weapons, you want to be competitive. In multiplayer games, guess what? You got to go through our shitty loot system. And that's what they did. People figured it out way too late, though. The damage was already done. So I would rather be more skeptical now than skeptical later, because to be honest with you. EA hasn't shown me that they can do anything. And whenever apparently a game isn't made by Respawn, it sucks. So, maybe you could say Battlefield with DICE. But DICE didn't even work on what was it called? On Battlefront 2. It was this company called Motive Games or Motive Studios. Which I don't even know. I've never heard of that developer before. I thought it was like a branch of DICE, maybe? It's a Canadian studio. And it's a branch of EA, but I thought that it was like a branch. I thought that essentially they had, they're now trying to get me to join their team. Sorry. But I thought like Motive Studios was like a branch of DICE that they had like taken apart and had then made like an entirely new developer, and that would be Motive Studios, because I felt like Star Wars Battlefront 2 was essentially, I thought that DICE had made it, to be honest with you. Like, that kind of makes sense. They're trying to get me to like, they're trying to get, like they're based in Montreal, so one of their advertisements for like their company, for their studio, is Montreal breathes art, architecture, food, sports, and music. It's a place that everybody has to live in once. Frick, man, I'm sold. I want to move to Montreal. Tired of being hot, so freaking hot in the summers. It was like 100 degrees here. I'd rather be cold in the winters than hot in the summers. It's ridiculous outside. They have 100+ people. They were founded in July 13th, on July 13th, 2015. That's not a lot of experience for a developer, by the way. If you're not up and up on that studio. Jesus Christ. But yeah, they're making Squadron. I'm not very excited for it. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see about this game. We'll see about this studio. I don't like to destroy developers and games before I even see gameplay for it, but this is a very specific situation where I'm like, I don't think that this specific developer, maybe not developer, but publisher, can follow through with creating great games. We'll see. So I kind of hinted at it, before, where I was talking about I wasn't really excited for this week, really at all, because there's really not a lot of stuff to show off. Excuse me. When it comes to the expos, when it comes to the events, because everything got pushed back. Everything. From Night City Wire to EA Play. EA Play was supposed to be, I think, 2 weeks ago in like early June. And then Night City Wire was supposed to be last week. So, obviously things got pushed back. It fucking sucks, because I'm looking at, like, I'm literally looking at a week from today. They have essentially developer showcase. Tune in for a look at upcoming independent and larger scale products. That's June 22nd. New Game Expo. Announcements and updates from companies including Sega, Atlas, and more. That's the 23rd. On the 24th, Marvel's Avengers War Table. New gameplay and details on Marvel's Avengers. That's the new game coming out of Marvel Studios. I think the publisher or whatever for all of the Marvel games. That is June 24th on Wednesday. On frickin' Thursday, Night City Wire. Obviously, with Cyberpunk 2077. Doesn't that sound like 80 times better than pretty much just EA? Like, just EA. That's it. That's all that's happening this week. Obviously, The Last of Us Part 2 is being released, but again, I'm not getting it until next week, which is why I want to be in next week. Because nothing is coming out. No interesting, this is like a lull of information, which was why I was like, when I was debilitating and I was trying to like figure out something to talk about, I was scrounging around for information. I was like, I gotta find something to put on the channel, right? So I was trying to find something, and I was trying to like look at something, I was trying to find an idea, and I found some ideas, but I hated all the ideas singularly. And I'm just talking myself in circles because I went into like detail about this like 12 minutes ago. The long and the short of it is, there really isn't a lot of good stuff this week. There's a lot of great stuff next week. One particular thing specifically being Cyberpunk 2077, the Night City Wire event. Weirdly enough, I think I tried to record this podcast like twice or 3 times, I think. And I said in like an intro, I said that I really didn't like myself talking about Cyberpunk 2077 constantly, because I feel like that's what I do almost like every single week. I have a video talking about Cyberpunk 2077. I think last week was like the first week in like a month where I didn't talk about Cyberpunk 2077. Which is like, I don't have a problem talking about that game. I love that game. I'm excited for that game. But I feel like everything that I've said has been said like numerous. Yeah, I freaking talked about it last week. But it's like, I feel like and I talked about it like the week before that, and I think I talked about it the week before that. Not even talked, but I had like a little like gameplay trailer or whatever, or just a little song or whatever for that game. Like, I've talked about that game ad nauseum, and I kind of want to move off of that game. Not because I'm not excited for that game, not because I'm not interested in that game. I am excited, I am interested. I just don't want to like bore you with just talking about that game. But I will also talk about that game, to be honest with you. Because, again, I'm very, very excited for it. And I have some thoughts. on it. So, Night City Wire is supposed to be next week on Thursday. If you go to Cyberpunk 2077, the Twitter account, the official Twitter account for the video game, it's been dead silent. It's been quiet. I've been literally checking it every single day for like the past couple of months for any information. It's how I got all that information about the organizations, the gangs, the corporations, and I made a video about that, I think in April, just by like looking at their Twitter. Technically, I think it was in May, actually. It was like early May. They've been dead silent. They haven't posted anything in like 10 days. They posted like a link to the Run the Jewels 4, which is an album from Run the Jewels. It was for free. I have it on my computer. I'm not going to play it, because it's like you can download it for free. But they've been deathly quiet about this game. They haven't said anything. They haven't done anything. Why is that the case? I think it's because they're gearing up maybe for a live performance. Or, to be honest with you, maybe a pre-recorded show plus interviews afterwards. That's probably what they're going to do. They're probably going to be on their P's and Q's. They're probably reviewing the gameplay once again. They're going over it once again. And they're probably going to have, I don't know, maybe the creative director or the game director just like go over like what they're talking about with the game, because usually like they post pretty frequently on their Twitter account. It's not like they went back to developing the game. It's more along the lines that they probably have something big coming up within the next couple of weeks. Technically within the next week. I made a video about it. It's literally called Predicting What's Going to Be in Night City Wire. What did I talk about in that video? I don't know. I think I predicted, I think pretty much what I said in that video was that I think that what's going to be in Night City Wire is essentially just like, it's going to be real gameplay in the sense of, like, if you've watched the Witcher 3 E3 gameplay demo, essentially they had a developer talk about and narrate the gameplay and what was going on in the gameplay, and it's essentially like mostly it's not like one-to-one comparison when it comes to gameplay, but for the most part it was a mission where you go in and you're searching for I forgot his name, but he was like this like elder creature or whatever that you're going into Velen into, and you're finding him, and he's supposed to guide you to, I think, I forgot so much of the Witcher lore, but the 3 sisters, the 3 hags, the 3 witches in the forest, like he was supposed to guide you to those, and that was essentially one of the main parts of the mission. I think that they're going to do something like that. I think what CD Projekt Red is probably going to do is they're going to take you through multiple districts in the game, and they're going to show you multiple districts. They're going to show you weapon customization. They're going to show you car customization. They're going to show you character customization. They're going to, I feel like, show off more than they've ever shown off before, and they've shown off a lot. Also, for a potential, they could also release the gameplay that they haven't shown off to the public that they should have released last year, but they didn't. And it was recently leaked, I think like a year ago. Not a year ago, it was like leaked in September of last year. And then it was leaked again recently. It started to pick up a lot more traction, and people started to like I'm not going to say where I got the leaked gameplay, because I have the leaked gameplay. I'm not going to say where I got it. But I got it, and I watched it, and I was like, oh, this is just an extended version of the gameplay that they showed off, the Cyberpunk 2077 deep dive, which is not so much of a deep dive, just as like they edited and cut out a lot of the footage from the 30 minutes pretty much of gameplay that they should have released out of like an hour. Like they have 2 hours of gameplay that they could just release. I don't know why they don't. But I think they'll probably release another hour's worth of gameplay. Again, it just depends on where and when are you in the game, I guess. Maybe you're still at the beginning of the game. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're a little bit more in depth in the game. Maybe you've essentially unlocked a lot of the basic things. They really haven't talked that much about Johnny Silverhand and how exactly he affects gameplay and the narrative that much. Maybe you get a little bit more of a reveal with that. They still haven't shown off cars that much, in my opinion. They had this little like 5-second snippet where they show this car rotating around and stuff like that. The Reaver, it's a custom-built Wraith Gang vehicle based on the Quadra Type 66 car with its near 1,000 horsepower. You will ride eternal, shiny, and chrome. Happy 5th anniversary, Mad Max Fury Road. Fucking awesome movie. But it looks like it's a custom, tricked-out car. Like, it seems like they custom built it for off-road driving. And the weird and the cool thing is that you're in a fucking desert. Like, you're out of the city, it looks like, and you're in a fucking desert, right? But the interesting thing is, and this is like, can I get a better quality? No, it's only like, the quality goes down as they rotate it, or as my screen rotates it. There it is. So the interesting thing is that you're pretty much in like this little tiny gas station. You're 1,000% outside of the city, and you can even see the city like in the background, and it literally looks like you're in Mad Max, except if Mad Max had futuristic cities and actual environments and areas and stuff like that. Like, that's literally what's going on in this game. Like, not in this game, but in this like short little trip. Maybe they could essentially like show what's going to happen when you boot up the game. So you go from essentially character customization, checking out your story, to going into Night City. Maybe you're playing as a nomad. A nomad in the game is essentially a wanderer. So you start off essentially outside of the city, and then you go into the city and you establish yourself in the city, and that's kind of where the game starts off, if you pick a nomad. But in this particular case, yeah, I can see the city. Like, it's a small little haze, but yeah, it's there. 1,000% there. And they could show off, in reality, they could show off the gameplay. They could show off, like, outside the walls. They could show off inside the walls of the city. I don't know if the city has walls. I'm assuming so. But they could show off the city. They could show off the wastelands. They could show off a fuck ton of shit. And to be honest with you, this wasteland looks gigantic. It looks gigantic. Like, there's mountains and stuff like that surrounding it. But for the most part, it looks fucking huge, man. But yeah, just some thoughts on Cyberpunk 2077 on Night City Wire. I'm not going to hold you for too long because, you know, I don't really have a lot of talk. I don't really have a lot of stuff to talk about. Let me know if this is like an interesting format that you want to keep going and keep doing. I wanted to talk about something on Hot Take Tuesday, but like what I wanted to talk about on Hot Take Tuesday was Star Wars Squadron, but then I just hated it. I hated how the video was going, and I hated like the recordings, and I hated the concept of like bashing a game for 5 minutes and that's like a video. I hate putting like a bunch of bad energy out there, especially when it's like so fucking easy to dunk on EA all the time. And I know I dunked on EA a little bit during this podcast, but I don't want to make it like a habit of just like every single time EA comes out with something, I just come out of nowhere and fucking like Shaq slam dunk on EA, even though, even though I really didn't do a whole lot of that. I just bitched and complained for a couple of minutes, but it's like, it's how I feel, even though I'm complaining and bitching and stuff like that. I don't know. Is there anything else I want to talk about before leaving? Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to have a Wednesday video. I really haven't, like, I may make a video talking about Ghost Runner, the new game. I again made a video about it. It's called Go. It has the song with, what's that guy's name? The Kid Laroi and Juice WRLD. R.I.P. But I like that song that they had made. The song title is called Go, and I put it over Ghost Runner gameplay, and I was like, I think that's a perfect fit. That's a perfect match. And I just, like, I edited it. It was literally like, I wasn't gonna make a video on Monday because I was just like, I don't have any ideas, and I wasn't gonna make a video on Tuesday because I was like, I don't have any ideas. Probably the exact same thing is gonna happen tomorrow, which is going to happen in like 9 minutes because technically it's 11:51 right now, where I'm like, I don't have any ideas. And I'm like, well, you know what? Too bad. Make something. That's essentially what I'm going to probably do. I don't know. We'll see. Turn it down, please. Not off, turn it down. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been 24's podcast, the best video gaming and sports podcast on the entire internet. I'm very, very tired. Pause the music. One more time. Just pause the music. Pause the music. I hate this back and forth where I'm like, I may want to make a video. I may want to make a podcast. It's not about like a want for me. It's just I didn't really have anything to talk about. I don't really want to like just create podcasts all the time. I do want to make videos, but I didn't have like great video ideas that I wanted to execute on, and I tried, and I don't want to just I want to make videos, but I dropped the ball. I'll come back. I'll be better. So, play my music. Let's end the podcast. If you like this podcast, you can find the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, and RadioPublic. Literally, where you can find any podcast, you can find my podcast, 24's podcast. Whatever will I be talking about on Wednesday. By the way, if I don't post on Wednesday, that is because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do on Wednesday. But I will pause the music. I will definitely have something on Thursday. I'll be talking about EA State of Play. Actually, let's just cut it. Cut the crap. I'm going to have 4 videos this week. I'm not even going to try. Wednesday is when I will have another video. No, wrong again. I'm tired. I'm sorry. Thursday is when I will have another video. That will be the EA State of Play. I'm going to give my brain a day. I'm just going to not do anything tomorrow. Pretty much. I hope you understand. I don't know. It's not that I'm getting worn out. It's just I hit a brick wall for the last 2 days. So, we'll see. Until my next podcast and my next video, pause it again on Thursday. Come back on Thursday. Until my next podcast /video, not /video or video, which is going to be on Thursday. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.